just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that it was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar Archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, fies.
All right. In Lakesh Alakim. Welcome to something new we're doing. So we're streaming on several social media sites. We're on IG. We're also on Instagram. We're on IG as Instagram. We're on YouTube and Facebook. And tying everything together. So this is going to be really a phenomenal session. We're going to be doing this for the remainder of the 8 days that we're talking about the journey of the archetypes. And it's really important for you to know that this whole process of the journey of the archetypes, is the galactic tree of life. And what does that mean in layman terms? That we're moving through 20 dynamic states of consciousness that's accessed through the light to help us evolve by accessing more of our memory, more of our cosmic memory. And it is very powerful how this happens, because when I talk about the fact that scientists say that we have over 100 plus million years of memory stored in our cerebellum. Think about that. We may not be even using 1/1,000,000th of that consciously, because we use the computers and artificial intelligence to help us guide and navigate on the planet. But we have this same power innately in our human technology. And this cosmology helps us unfold and unpack this for ourselves. Okay, so it's really, really, really a very powerful experience, because we're evolving. We're moving from the information age into the telepathic age of our existence. Okay, and so by that being the case, just think about the power of what we have. Is there anything that you're doing right now that if you didn't evolve past it, you couldn't overcome it? So I'll give you an example. It's like if you had the problems you had back in high school today, it would be easy for you because you already got experience. You already have, you would remember what you didn't do that may have caused problems and what you should have done or what you could have done. And now you just put yourself in a dynamic position to overcome it. Well, our consciousness, we have access to consciousness to overcome any circumstance that we experience on the planet. And we use the unfolding of these archetypes, right, to help us trigger our memory in order to do so. All right. So in the dream spell calendar, we follow the 13 moon calendar, but it's really a synchronometer. It synchronizes the 13 moons with the 12 months of the Gregorian calendar, and there's a 260-day calendar. This is where these archetypes come from. 260-day calendar that helps us evolve spiritually as well as access our cosmic memory. That's how we evolve spiritually, when we remember who we are in our totality of our being as far as consciousness, right? And we're able to access these states of consciousness. And this is kind of what's happening as, we just had the leap day yesterday. And so now this is what's ushering us in to move from the information age. So you're moving from informed, right, into the telepathic age of your extrasensory abilities. And so we literally have a cosmology to show you how that unfolds in your life. Okay? How that unfolds through these kin numbers that we have. All right? So with that, today we're talking about we just got off Clubhouse, and we're talking about the shadow wisdom of the archetype. So we talk about the archetype today, which is the 12th archetype out of 20, or the 12th dynamic frequency of light. We are talking about the yellow human. And the yellow human, right? I got a little yellow human right here. Here's my little yellow human. He's kin 152. But the yellow human deals with three main attributes, right? Influence, wisdom, and free will. And so in being able to do that, we now are going to see, well, how does that relate to where I am in my consciousness right now? Now, many a time we talk about the positive attributes, but there is a shadow wisdom, right, that goes along with this too. This is where we are now, right, tapping into some of the challenges that we encounter as these different dynamic frequencies of light unfold. Okay, so today is kin number 132 out of 260, the yellow lunar human. The affirmation reads as follows: I polarize in order to influence. Now, when we're polarizing something, it's like analyzing it. We're pulling it apart. We're studying it to see the weakest parts of it and strengthening those parts, right? So we're polarizing, right? And once we get everything strengthened, we have the influence of how to use it, right? Stabilizing wisdom, right? So now, how do we stabilize our wisdom? Through experience, right? I seal the process of free will. Now, there's a process to freeing the will from the ego, from the artificial programs that we all running on. All of our personalities have been suggested to us by our circumstances. We call it the circumstantial persona. And so that's what we want to evolve beyond to. That's what the spirit is helping us transcend our emotions into a more beautiful state and place. Okay. And so that's the next line. I seal the process of free will with the lunar tone of challenge. So it's going to be a challenge studying. It's going to be a challenge breaking things down. But the end result, as you break and exceed that challenge, you're going to have influence and wisdom that you didn't have before. That's the ethic of the human archetype in this journey of 20 archetypes here that I'm talking about. Right? And then the last line states, I'm guided by the power of flowering, blossoming, growing exponentially. So I'm going to read this 2 more times. I just wanted to explain it to you so you can get an idea from this perspective. What is this talking about? I polarize in order to influence, stabilizing wisdom. I seal the process of free will with the lunar tone of challenge. I am guided by the power of flowering. One more time to make it affirmative and lock it in. I polarize in order to influence. Stabilizing wisdom. I seal the process of free will with the lunar tone of challenge. I am guided by the power of flowering. So how do you know you're going in the right way? You use this as a compass and you know, okay, if things are blossoming, if things are growing exponentially, I'm headed in the right direction. What if nothing is growing? What if everything is you're going in the negative? All right, you need to reorient yourself because you're going in the wrong direction. You're not listening to intuition. You're listening to advice and opinions from maybe people that are not where you already want to be. And that's guiding you in the opposite directions, right? And so you want to take personal note of this so that you can, empower yourself, right? So with this process, it's flat out amazing that now I want to talk to you a little bit more about the human, the spiritual name of the human. You can see right over here, the human right here, right? That's what the archetype looks like. And each of these archetypes represent a dynamic frequency of light. That's where it came from, a pattern. And this pattern, if we follow this pattern, the light is going to open up the monolith or the all-seeing eye to access the memory, the cosmic memory, so we can see greater abilities that we once had, maybe in another lifetime or what have you, or maybe just flat out in consciousness as a whole, so we can use that skill, we can use that gift while we're in this physical body on the earth to help us pursue our purpose and complete our mission on the planet. All right. So that's a lot that we're talking about, right? So we're going to talk about a little bit more about the human, and then we're going to talk about the shadow wisdom. And this is, what do you do when you lack fulfillment in your life? So let's look here. I'm actually reading the Mayan Oracle. The Mayan Oracle is a great book to learn about all the archetypes, right? And so the pronunciation for the spiritual name of the human archetype is Eb, E-B, right? It's E-H-B, Eb, right? And if you flip it around, it says B, right? Eb, B, B, Eb, right? So what does that mean? That's a divine decree, to be, from the initial states of the firmament. When the firmament was created, divine decree is to be, not to do, So how you going to do love? No, you be loving. How you going to do joy? No, we be joyful, right? How you going to do compassion? You're not going to do compassion. You're going to be compassionate, be empathetic. And this is how you allow the heart to adjoin with the mind, so that the power of nature and the power of synchronicity works on your behalf as you carry out your mission and missions on the planet. What are the qualities, right? The qualities of Ebb, right? The yellow human. Abundance. We need to learn about that, right? Harvest, gratitude, chalice, emptiness, open vessel, quickening, and electromagnetic tuning. Okay. All right. The color is bronze wheat. The element is fire and the direction is south. Let's look at the shadow wisdom and the shadow transformation to see if any of these shadows, those of you that are watching, have experienced. All right. And are experiencing. Right. The shadow wisdom states the first thing, issues of fulfillment. So how many of you are on a job that's unfulfilling? How many of you are in relationships that are unfulfilling? How many of you are just by yourself and are unfulfilled by what you're offering yourself? Maybe you're resting on your laurels. Maybe you're not in a position to exert yourself like you want. And a lot of us are just flat out not where we want to be in life as a whole. All right. So with that being the case, we need to identify that. If that sounds like you, we need to address that conflict so abundance can flow more fluidly to you, right? Abundance, right? We have a problem with abundance, insufficiency, and lack, right? Issues of the mind. We let people mess with our head, with our thinking, because we want to avoid, if we've had some trauma, we don't know sometimes how to discern, so we avoid the trauma. Um, Overvaluing and devaluing the intellect, right? The intellect is powerful. It's part of intelligence. The more intelligent that we become, the more we evolve. The more we evolve, the more power we have over our circumstances. The more power we have over our circumstances, the less resistance that we experience in our life. Okay? The shadow transformation states, become self nurturing by doing what brings you joy and fulfillment. First thing. So, right now, let's just say, how many of you, and we got people from a lot of different designations. So I'm gonna flip to Instagram. How many of you are experiencing things in in terms of um, you have a job and you are not fulfilled with what you do? You know, go ahead and put some comments in with that. If you're in, if you're on YouTube, put some comments in on that. The question is, you know, do you have a job that you are not fulfilled when you go to it? Now, that's a good place to start because there's nothing to get mad about. I have a job or a business. Okay, if it's not a business, let's find something that we lack fulfillment. What about a relationship? Right? Do you have a relationship, and it doesn't have to be an intimate relationship, but do you have a relationship where you spend a lot of time with somebody, but you don't necessarily feel fulfilled in the interaction, but you just do it? Sometimes we people please. Sometimes we just go through the motions because we might be able to get some assistance later. All right. But there we go, Johnny. You know, we need to identify these things, not hide them, because when we identify it, then we can fix the problem. Now, this is coming from a perspective of self-acceptance. Let me tell you my definition of self-acceptance. I am the way, right? I am the source and the creator of my experience. If you take that degree of responsibility, and I love doing that, I never used to think that way. I used it, self-acceptance to me was, I just accept things are the way they are. But what if I told you things are the way you are? And if things are the way you are and you can change who you are, you see what I'm saying? Now you in a position, right? Now you in a position to change your circumstances and change your life. I got you, Eduardo. All right. So in this process, you have to find ways to be in more fulfilling relationships, more fulfilling jobs, more fulfilling businesses and things of that nature. And one of the ways you can do that is to ask yourself, what is my purpose for doing this? Now I'm going to tell you, listen, purpose is the most powerful force in the universe. Why? Because without purpose, nothing would exist. So already, even if you're not walking in your purpose consciously, right? Your purpose is unfolding before you. You're being led to your purpose. Like, for example, my purpose is not a job. A lot of people think, oh, my purpose is to be a doctor. No, your purpose may be to be a healer or activate the healing power in people. And you don't have to just do that being a doctor. You could do that at the grocery store. You could do that at a yoga class. You can do that all kind of places, right? But the whole idea, right, is to know what your purpose is. Now, mine, my galactic purpose from the cosmology, I'm the storm. That's why I play this music on here. You know, the storm. And the storm, the archetype kin 239 reads, I empower in order to catalyze. Now, here's what I did. I looked at all the areas that I was not fulfilled in. And I asked myself, am I able to empower myself in these areas? Or am I able to help empower other people? And when the answer was no, I can't empower myself, and no, I can't help people empower themselves, it got delineated. It's done. Because it doesn't have a purpose. It's not serving the purpose that I'm here for. You see, so you got to get linked up with your purpose, and this cosmology is a great way to get a good idea of what your galactic purpose is on the planet. And you can go down the list. Okay, I got a relationship. I'm the one that's giving. I'm doing everything. Okay. Well, guess what? Right? You're not fulfilled and you're not being empowered by it. You're comfortable with it, and you're not able to help empower it. So the next stage is, and when you're dealing with a relationship, hey, this is what's going on with me. I'm not feeling fulfilled in this. Are you? They may say yes or no. I'm glad you talked to me about it. You kind of beat me to it. I was going to talk to you tomorrow. I wasn't feeling fulfilled either. And now you both can take a deep breath and say, all right. Whew, all right. Well, I'm not alone. So now what you want to do? Do you want to salvage this? Do you want to, do some things different? Because if we keep doing things the way we're doing, we're just going to be having a courtship of misery, right? So let's make some adjustments. And very well, the people could say, okay, let's make these adjustments and let's create a better experience in this relationship. You got some people that's going to say, well, I'm good. I'm not changing nothing, man. I'm not going to change nothing. So, if it ain't working for you, we can go ahead and keep it pushing. Okay. But now you're going to feel a sense of relief because now you had a space occupied that was draining your energy. And now it can be replaced with somebody that can appreciate you for what you have and want to pour into your tank, want to add value to you, want to become a companion of destiny for you. And then now you're able to feel better about your interactions, right? In that particular relationship or job or what have you. All right. So it's very important that you take this seriously because your energy field is going to take a toll. It's going to take a toll on your energy field. And that's going to take a toll on what you're able to magnetize in your life. If you have the lower amount of fulfillment you have in your experience, then you are demagnetizing yourself to attract what you want. Because you don't really attract what you want, you attract what you are and how you see yourself in your heart. Right? All right, so let's go on. So self-nurturing by doing things that bring you joy and fulfillment. Another thing, I like to encourage you to start with art. Start with something you enjoy. If you like to dance, get up as early as you can or as early in the morning or sometime before you go have to do a lot of stuff that, you really have to, is very thought-provoking or really challenging. And do something that brings you joy. That energy allows you to take command and control over the different things that you may encounter in your day, in your life. All right. Be willing to not know, to be empty so that you can be filled by expanded consciousness. Now, this is a big one. I call it conscious incompetence. You see, there's 4 stages that I learned about learning, right? There's unconscious competence, unconscious incompetence. That means you don't know what you don't even know. And let me tell you, people think they know everything about everything. They think they got all the right answers and they don't even know the right questions. And it's like driving a stick shift for the first time. You think you're gonna drive that stick shift and you never drove it like an automatic. I got it. I'm gonna go ahead and you're gonna hit a parked car like I did. I got it. Let me show you. I know I can do this. Got to drive different, right? So you got to learn. You got to be. Once you become consciously incompetent, that means you don't know everything. Then that's the greatest stage of learning. And I recommend people stay in this because there's so much to discover about yourself through your memories. cosmic memories. All right. So, you got to, really get to the point where you're open to expand your consciousness so you can expand your confidence. Befriend your mind. Be a friend to your mind. Do things to help it grow. I do a lot of things. I meditate. I focus on sacred geometry every dawning, every morning, and I'm focusing in this, increasing the neurological activity in my brain, and so therefore I'm able to focus on other tasks better throughout the day. And it only takes about 7 minutes. Some people, sometimes I've done it 15, 22. When I really was moving through some advanced stages, I was doing about 50 minutes of brain balancing and focus like that a day. And so I was really deep in at that point, right? So you want to do things to befriend your mind. That means you're doing things to help your mind strengthen the mental capacity that you have to overcome what? Obstacles. It is your free will to do. You need to free your will to do that versus free your will to be target practice for all the circumstances to come your way. Right? And then use your body as a receptor for higher frequencies. Now, this is really, how you feel, is a big proponent, is a big indicator of, in terms of the frequencies. It will tell you, is this good or not good for you? Okay. That's what you want to take part in. How do you feel? So you're using your body to discern, how does this feel? It doesn't feel the greatest. All right. And allow that to lead you on a path of unfolding to see exactly what it is that you need to do so that you can get in the feeling place that's aligned with the direction you're headed. Okay. So that's the shadow transformation. You have issues of fulfillment. Do things that bring you joy and fulfillment, right? You're dealing with abundance or insufficiency or lack. Now, the key to abundance don't have a respect of persons. The grass just grows. Your heart just beats. The trees and the flowers, they just bloom, right? But let me tell you where it doesn't bloom, if there's a conflict, right? So the tree has no conflict with being a tree, but the human can have a conflict with what it has because of what we call judgment. And once you start judging yourself, you present a conflict. Like a lot of people have a conflict with money. Like, for example, they think money is evil. The money ain't evil. You're going to take the money and use it as a tool, and you may use it for something good. How is it evil? It's just how you use it, right? It's a tool. And then when you really get into it, money is consciousness. It's just aligning with you, how you align with yourself, right? Some of us got conflicts with relationships. So we like let's just say you're a man and you've had some bad relationships. You got a conflict with women. Okay, so your relationships are going to show, that you're going to have some discord with women. Maybe you don't understand, you don't see them. Maybe there's certain things you don't consider, and so it may be a problem. Same thing with women. They may have had some bad relationships. They could have had an abusive relationship, and so now they got a conflict with men, and it affects how abundantly they can attract people to be their companions of destiny. And the companions of destiny is not about getting married or being intimate like that. It's people who support you as you carry out your purpose selflessly. And so people just show up to help serve you, to get you where you want to be. And that's nothing but you and your heart being in the pure state. Okay? So we got to work on abundance and lack thinking. A lot of us, we think small and hit, right? We don't think big enough. We think small, we think lack, we think problematic, and that's what happens. Okay. And so we have that. And then, don't overvalue or devalue your intellect. Now, let me tell you something. I truly think that you're going to win half the time and you're going to lose half the time. The key is that when you win big, and when you lose small, right? This whole idea about overvaluing yourself or overvaluing your intellect, a lot of time that amounts in low productivity, right? Because we get to intellectually, going back and forth, debating and things of that nature. And that energy could be focused on building a solution for what we're talking about in the first place. Show and tell, so that's the game plan. Now, we can debate about how much you like what I created versus what I should not create, and whatever a conspiracy could be stopping me and these kind of things. Well, let's just see. There's only one way to find out, right? So with that, issues of the mind, I want to talk about that. You got this self-talk is something that we talked about a couple days ago, and this issues of the mind. The mind is a very fertile place, and if you find yourself, when you make a decision, you're easily swayed. For example, if I make a decision that I'm gonna work in, I found a business that I like, and I'm gonna do that for 5 years, and I did all the research, I prayed about it, I meditated on it, and I got a green light from all those areas. And now I'm excited. I'm about to go at it. And then one of my friends come and say, "Oh, you in that business? Man, I wouldn't have got in that if I was you, because I heard that this is going on and that's going on." And before you know it, you start what? 1% doubt and you out. You let that comment mess with your head. And so now you can't focus. And he or she who focuses the most gets the furthest. The person that focuses the most, the longest, wins. Okay? So, when we're doing this, we want to understand that this is the key. Now, I want to say one more thing before we get ready to wrap up. Although this is the shadow wisdom, I also want to talk about the challenge of the human archetype. So every archetype, right, has a challenge. It has a physical body, it has a guide, the spiritual body, and it has an emotional body. I want to talk really briefly about the challenge. Now, the challenge is to remember, the challenge is to strengthen your ability to remember, because when you remember who you are and whose you are, you'll realize that you got power over the circumstance that you letting stress you out. You got power over it, so why are we stressed? Right? We have ability to raise our consciousness and overcome it. So now I'm in the consciousness raising business. I'm in the evolution of consciousness being the solution. And that works. Right? So the challenge for the human is the wind. So the wind is this one over here looking like the tongue is out. It's got a tongue out. But it's the wind. And the wind is the spirit of the earth. The breath is the spirit of the body. So the spirit provides a medium for the human consciousness and intellect to communicate with cosmic energy, right? The stars, the moon, all this kind of stuff has intelligence through the language of light to help us go further or farther, right, into our consciousness so that we can become more, know more, do more in this body on this planet, right? And so the spirit deals with evolutionary communications. And so the human oftentimes wants to just rely on logic, just wants to rely on intellect and rely on free will to get through. And that works to a certain point. But then when you come to a blockage and you're not spiritually aligned, this is where the conflict comes in and stops you in your tracks. And then if you got several conflicts that are kind of entangled, it becomes a complex. Now the psychology has a stronghold on your brain, and it messes with your mind, your thought process, and you can't move forward. Right? So people who need therapy, it's not a bad thing. They have blockages they just can't remove. So the skilled therapist says, hey, let's strengthen your mind and your psychology so we can help you remove the blockage. Then the energy starts flowing, and then life comes back to the flowers. It starts flowering again, blossoming. You see how that works? So the human needs to strengthen the spirit man, spirit woman, right, of the avatar, so that if challenges come, they're able to remember their spirituality, and they're able to access cosmic knowledge and cosmic intelligence so that they can overcome their problems in the earth and in the body. And that's what happens. So this is powerful information. If you know, well, my challenge to strengthen my memory about the spirit, if you are the human archetype, right? Now, my little son, he was just here, named Sage. He's Ken 152. He knows his affirmation and everything. And so he loves free will. So I pretty much allowed him to be his archetype. I mean, when you see this, these children that are coming now, they're coming with galactic consciousness. They're not coming. They're coming already having things figured out. So you're going to have to be able to teach them based on how they coming into this world, and it's not how you came into this world. You see? So I let his will be free so he can become wise, more wise and influential, and that's exactly what happens. But when he gets challenged, I talk to him about the spirit. I said, see, you're going to have to learn how to communicate with your mind different. You see, you got to have a loving spirit, Sage. You got to have compassion. What is that? Oh, that's when you kind of show people the way to get to where they want to be. Right? It has a compass in it. I learned that from Baba Wanik, Kimi Tahuti Shabazz. I love when he said that. And compassion is a compass. And it's how you show unconditional love for yourself and others by showing other people how to do that for themselves. Right? And so a lot of times it's not received. So this archetype, the human, if you don't have your kin number, you want to get your kin number. You want to reach out to me. I'll make sure I put my email in the chat on the YouTube. You can inbox me. But let me tell you, we just made a huge shift. We just restored 441 years of memory just last night on the leap day. It's very significant. Those of you that want to see that replay, let me know. I'll send it to you, because we are ushering in a whole new age. We're moving from the information age into the telepathic age of the synchronistic human. And there's no reason why those of you, what they say, many are called, but few are chosen, or few choose to be chosen. And those of you that's chosen yourself, you want to get as much of this knowledge as possible, because it will help you overcome the programs that are running your life. Ashe? All right, Ashe. So issues of fulfillment. All right, we need to work on that. And those of you that are on, you need to make sure that you find something that you're passionate about. Find something that allows you to be excited, to be happy. And then now it becomes infectious, right? Rule number one, find something you can get excited about. And that's a very magnetic energy, right? And if you don't do that, you're going to be opposite of that. And you're going to be miserable to be around yourself. And you're going to be miserable to be around by other people. And so now it's one of those things where now it's a very lonely road to live in quiet desperation. Right? Because that can downward spiral into shame and the depression and perhaps even potential suicide. Right? So take advantage of this. Learn. You're not going to learn this all in a day. And I've been doing this a while, but you can learn about these archetypes and they will show you different things. Like they give you instructions. One of the big things that I will say is that there's nothing really special about me. But what I am good at, I'm good at decoding and deciphering things. I get a download and I'm able to receive it. I don't think it's the devil or not. When I get a download, I'm talking about a very precise, detailed plan or concept of what's going on, and then I get instructions on what to do. Now, what I'm good at, I don't deviate from them instructions. I do them to a T with dynamic precision. And every time I do them with that dynamic precision, I've gotten the outcome I want. Anytime I've deviated a little bit, whether I'm fatigued or I just ain't gonna do it this time that way. I want to see what it is this way. I need a little more spice, a little more excitement, right? Well, if that's the case, I do it different, but I may not get the results I would have got if I followed them to the instructions to the T. All right. So learn how to follow instructions. Learn how to listen to your higher mind. And it's the intuition that will speak through your heart. You'll feel it. If it's other mind, then that means it's not there. But this energy comes from the heart, and then now you'll take possession of your mind and do what needs to be done. Right? All right. So with that being said, this is going to conclude our session. So we're going to be right back here tomorrow, and I'm going to tie in instead of doing Clubhouse at a separate time. I'll be doing it from my phone while I'm doing it here, and it's going to be a great experience. And we got 8 more days left to complete the journey of the archetypes. All right. So hopefully I said something that inspires you. Don't take this moment in time for granted. Get this information and knowledge so that you won't be a god in the matrix, in the artificial matrix of false time. It's the end of false time right now. In Lakesh, I am another you. Alakim, you are another me. Hotep, Hetepu, and Namaste. And remember, evolution is the solution. Peace.